This is Baxter Colburn, host of Verse of the Day. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hello everyone, it's No Filter Friday, and you know what? I've got iced tea, granted it's Chipotle iced tea, but whatever, and then I have LaCroix bubbles, but what I should have, kids, is some A1, because these comments that we're about to read are steak. Oh, they're steak. It's too much. It's too much fun. I read it today. And I'm sure it's even juicier since the article came out. Oh my goodness. So hello, Roger. Let us take a moment to share the broadcast, because it's only fun if the homies can have some. And we will talk about all of the things. So I had things to do today. Normally, yes, Roger, I am clammed up today. So two things happened. I had things to do today that required me to put a face on, and I ordered magnetic eyelashes on Amazon because Stephen told me to, and I'm not totally sure if I'm with them, so we're going to try it out and see, basically. I'm not totally sure if it's going to work or not. I bought them for, like, ease of use, because, like, putting lashes on, like, takes a while. Because, like, you got to do the glue, and it's going to dry, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, magnetic ones, you can just go dink, and you're done. Lies. That's not how it is. A1. Okay. We're posting. We're sharing. We're loving each other. Oh, you like them? Thank you. Normally, Roger, you're my seasonal eyelash hookup. Are you guys doing lashes again for Oscar Day? Because that's normally like my lashes don't get done unless you do them, basically. My lashes are your responsibility. Basically, you should probably put that on your resume, or at least on your business card. David Bobke came in. Hello, David Bobke. Does it sound okay? Is this like in my hair, or is it cool? Hopefully it's cool. I hope it's cool, because I think these headphones are gonna, I think they're gonna die soon, unfortunately. Any hoozles. Okay. So what had happened was, this is crazy, all right? I'm gonna pull up this article real fast. But anyway, in the interim of that, what happened is not last week, but I think the week before, I did the first episode on Heather Parry, which, if you have not seen it or listened to it, if you're a podcast person, go back, back it up, and go listen to that, because it's the first lady situation. Yes, Roger, send me lashes. Send me the Daniel lashes, because he's bomb. He's bomb. I like him. I've had to fight old ladies for lash appointments with him, and I'm not even kidding. Had to fight old ladies. Actually, you know what? The old ladies fought me. I was defending myself and my thin lashes, basically. David Popke says, I think you're good on sound. Got to turn other crap on my end off. you know, honey, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do, you do it, because I love you and I want you to be happy. All right, anyway, so not last week, the week before, I did the first show on Heather Parry. Why? Because she was the first lady executive that came up, got called to the carpet in the hashtag Me Too era. And many shows behind that, I talked about how there was a female executives were going to get caught up in this too, and there was going to be one from Sony. Heather used to work at Sony, but she's not even the one I was talking about, which is, crazy. Crazy enough. So when I did that episode on Heather initially, I tried to talk to all kinds of people that had been credited as her assistant, which you can find on IMDb. None of those people would talk to me. They're like, click, no, bye. Like, just, I was dead to them. Block so fast. They were literally not having it. So I was like, well, guess I'm on my own then, kids. Like, we're just going to have to go from Rachel's memory, which is luckily like elephant spectacular. So it was okay. So after the episode came out, I got hit up on Twitter that people, from people who had contributed to the Variety article that we talked about and based the whole episode on. Not that they want to be on the record again, because it seems like nobody really, like, they want their story told. They want people, to know what's happened, and they want Live Nation and Heather Parry and the CEO, Michael Rapino, to all be accountable for these actions. Because she's been there since 2015? Nah, longer than that. Maybe 2013. Something like that. She hasn't been in Happy Madison for a while, and that's how I knew. Anyway. This article came out today at almost 11 o'clock in the morning. See that? January 17th, 2019, 10:51, Variety. Live Nation investigations of Heather Parry also targets leakers, exclusive. So after I had a long chat with one of the ladies that was in the article initially, contacted me on Twitter and she's like, you pronounced my name wrong, which I probably do a lot on the show, especially for people that I don't know. So I'm sorry about that. My apologies for the name butchering. I'm like a teacher on the first day of school. Like, who? What is this? What is your name? I don't know. Anyway, so let's go through this article real fast because it's not super long, but it is impactful. And then we're going to get to the juicy, thick, juicy part, which is the comments, which is where the real tea is. Any hoozles. The thing is, people are more than willing to talk about Heather Parry. They just don't want to do it on their record with their real names. So, over the past 2 weeks, the law firm Paul Hastings LLP. You do not know Paul Hastings law firm. It's one of the biggest law firms in LA. They have an entire skyscraper in downtown LA. Huge. Right next to the Standard, which used to be my OG haunt. Anyway, probing allegations reported by Variety last month that Heather Parry, the head of Live Nation Productions, has verbally abused employees and used offensive language in the workplace, which I can guarantee you is 100% true because I've seen her do it. But the lead investigator, Elena Baca, yet another name to butcher, seems to be just as interested in uncovering who leaked internal information, according to several sources who have spoken with the lawyer. Parry was placed on leave December 21st in response to Variety's investigation of workplace abuse. You know this because we talked about it, which included allegations from 23 former employees of Live Nation and Happy Madison Productions. Where she previously worked, the employer said she was routinely mean, okay? I don't know where they're going with this, but she was mean. Other staffers and spoke in offensive terms about women, gay people, African Americans. Variety's story included excerpts from a audio tape meeting. This is the important part, in which Live Nation president Joe Birch told and CFO Kathy Willard told employees that Parry was unlikely to significantly change her behavior and that staffers should try to forgive her. 2 days, full stop. period. 2 days before the report was published, an anonymous person gained access to the Live Nation Productions Twitter account and accused CEO Michael Rapino of ignoring employees' complaints. In the statement last month, the company said its values its open, accessible, and inclusive culture, and that it had hired a third-party investigator to look into the employees' concerns. Baca has met with numerous current and former Live Nation Productions employees. According to the sources who spoke to Variety, she has asked about Parry's workplace conduct, but in several of the interviews, she has spent about half of the time trying to ferret out leaks. Specifically, Baca has asked who recorded the meeting with Berchtold and Willard how the recording was disseminated. She also tried to get to the bottom of who hijacked the Twitter account, asking which employees had access to the login credentials. Baca has also asked some employees if they have recently traveled to Thailand. She did not explain the relevance of the inquiry. In a statement on Wednesday, the Live Nation spokesperson said the investigator had been given discretion as how to pursue the probe of Parry's conduct. We have hired a third-party investigator with a specific remit to conduct an investigation on Heather Parry's conduct and have given full latitude to the investigator to conduct the review as they see fit, the spokesperson said. Parry's attorney, Martin Singer, surprise, surprise. Martin Singer just seems to jump on every single bad bandwagon. All of them. Like, it's like, oh, did you catch a case? And you're a terrible person? Martin Singer's your dude. Said Wednesday that it was entirely proper for the company to try to determine who secretly recorded at the meeting, which he called a criminal act. This is where this gets important. It's not a criminal act involved at all. They were in violation of labor law, and in California, you're allowed to record any like illegal activity. If somebody's breaking the law, you're allowed to record it. So they're not breaking any sort of privacy laws. They're in violation of labor law by the things that they did and the things that they said. So that's a really, really thin article or argument, and I'm sure Paul Hastings would know this. Baca is the head of Paul Hastings' Los Angeles office and the co-vice chair of its employment law practice. Oh, goodness. She has worked on behalf of companies in several major cases, including representing American Apparel and its litigation with former CEO Dov Charney, who has a new line, by the way, and it's identical to the original American Apparel. That's a different topic for a different show. In a statement issued to Variety in December, Parry said she was being targeted simply because of how others perceive a woman in power. She also apologized, saying, "If I hurt someone, that was not my intention." She also denied ever being sexist, racist, or homophobic. Parry, Heather Parry, totally. Oh yes, we totally believe you. Okay. Here's my favorite username ever. On Variety, Rapino Weinstein 2020. Rapino is terrified of Heather. She runs the show at Live Nation. She probably has the goods on Rapino. She obviously does. She obviously does. This woman's notorious for having dirt on people and leveraging it to her benefit. 100%. Which is why he is silent. He is hoping the story blows over and the investigation is deemed inconclusive. Regardless, how can the CEO not have a comment? I believe it's time for new leadership at Live Nation, leadership that has not been compromised by Heather. Hashtag Rapino Weinstein 2020. Hashtag Rapino new. I think Rapino was in on it. That's what I think. Surf Cold says, Vile Nation. Accurate. Confused says, can someone explain to me why Michael Rapino has not made a comment? Are you the freaking CEO of the company and are twiddling your thumbs? Take Heather Scary down. The tea, folks. The tea. Appalled says, I'm appalled at this company, particularly one as large and well-known as Live Nation would allow and defend this type of behavior. You should be helping the abused, not trying to cover up and find a way to continue to make money by employing this monster. And the thing is, too, is like, the biggest thing about Heather, I think, is like if you ask anybody that's worked for her, with her, she doesn't do that much work. She spends a lot of time going off doing whatever it is that she feels like doing, and then comes around to like smooze on people that are coming in that are a big deal, and that she thinks that she can group on, basically. You deserve to lose your business. This type of behavior calls for a new leadership, including the CEO. It'll be interesting to find out more secrets. I have a feeling that there are more than anyone knows. I agree with that statement. Steve HC says, seems to me that she's just a plain nasty nut job and probably needs to be let go. That's possible. Dr. Brosa says, I earned, oh goodness, never mind. Spam! Here for this. Everyone who worked under her or saw any of her bad behavior at Live Nation or Happy Madison MTV should speak to the investigator and go public with hers or her story. Heather needs to be stopped. Morgan says, hey, Heather, remember this? This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. Look at it. Ooh, it's juicy and it's thick. Hey, Heather, remember the last time you called me into your office, shut the door, and proceeded to threaten me? When I'd finally had enough, I told you to find someone else to terrorize, and you told me just to kill myself because no one wanted me around. Anyone keeping you employed should be on alert. We're not giving up and we aren't going anywhere. Shade. The shade. Tumbleweed is asking which one should we go with in the hashtag debate. Hashtag Rapinoe knew, hashtag Rapinoe enables, hashtag Rapinoe can't lead, hashtag Heather owns Rapinoe or Rapinoe Weinstein 2020. He says he likes the 2020, and I agree with that. I think that's a great one. This is no longer a Heather Parry story. That part has been established. There is ample evidence to terminate her. Let's go after the enabler. She's clear she can't lead. It seems he has jeopardized the company because of his own cough issues with Heather. Disgusting says, wow, Live Nation is more disgusting than I knew. I'm so glad not to be a part of that organization anymore. Shame on you. The Dirty says, wow, clearly Elena Baca is following Live Nation's directive into looking for the leakers. That is disgusting. Heather is trash and everyone knows about her. Everyone. There's definitely something going with Heather and her higher-ups, which they're trying to protect. Heather is a notorious leaker. Demi Moore overdose anyone? She's also probably got dirt ready to leak unless they keep her. Praying the karma gods come in and kick her to the curb once and for all. Royal Craft says, this one is maybe like the thickest and juiciest of all. Look at this. You got to scroll on this comment. Look, any comment that you can scroll on is 100% steak. Okay, let's go to the top. It's amazing that an investigation into Heather's abuse has turned into a witch hunt against those who leaked information about her. This demonstrates a total lack of focus and once again points to Live Nation's reluctance to take Heather's behavior seriously, even in the face of solid evidence. If I was Rapinoe, I would be shaking my boots that my HR staff is on the record as stating as, this is undeniably the worst case I've ever seen. And Live Nation is employing somebody who will, by all appearances, is evil. Could you imagine? Well, okay, hang on. Let's take a little pause from this comment. There are evil people in this town, 100%, like in the most classical definition of evil, 100%, 110%. There are evil people here. I think Heather's just a giant. I don't think she's actually evil, like in the literal sense. Could you imagine the testimony in civil court in the case of a front jury? Ooh, this is important, especially in the age of Weinstein and the hashtag MeToo movement. It would be brutal, and I can't wait to see it happen. Whatever value Parry brings to the table will pale in comparison to the fact that the brand will be forever tainted. If Heather isn't terminated, given the evidence no legitimate talent will want to deal with the blowback of working with Live Nation Productions, it would be career suicide. The decision here is so simple. Fire Heather Parry, move forward to pacify the abused employees, and salvage the company by hiring real leadership. The alternative will be catastrophic, and the fallout from Heather's return will be unrecoverable. The only way Heather keeps her job and survives this is if she has real dirt on Rapinoe or engaged in some kind of improper relationship with him. I think that's been implied over and over and over and over and over again, and is probably true, or some degree of it, because to the next part, this might explain why Rapinoe would be willing to sacrifice his business in order to salvage his personal life. Everyone knows Heather has dirt on people. The fact this investigation has turned on the whistleblowers tells me she could be the one pulling the strings. She for 100% sure is. Absolutely. Still waiting for Michael Rapinoe's comment. Like, what does Heather Parry have on Michael Rapinoe? Guesses. Who knows, dude? People are nasty in this town. She can know anything on him. Go away, Pinterest. Ooh, this is another one good one. This is one of my favorite users on Variety. I've worked for Heather. I've worked for her, and this is accurate. This is who she was then, who she is now. Shame on Live Nation. Ask around town about her. Everyone knows. Truth. Heather Von Dell, meow, says, it is crazy that Live Nation was defending her and refusing to hold her accountable for her nightmarish behavior. Basically, she made them oodles of cash as the head of production, and unquestionably, she did that part of her job well. But equally, unquestionably, she's a real a-hole and a subpar human being with narcissism issues and should not hold a position where she has any power over subordinates. Drew says, don't do the crime if you don't want to do the time. The scabs will be found and fired. I'm not exactly sure which way he's going on that comment. Can't really tell. BGB says, going after the whistleblowers is going to make this worse for Live Nation, and I don't care how many hours Live Nation makes Heather spend in anger management classes. That's 100% true, because if any of these people catch a wrongful termination case, done. They are going to have to go before a judge, and they are going to have to go before a jury, and if they do go before a jury, this woman is dunsies. None of them are going to care whose dirt they got on who, because they're going to have a Bill Cosby level line up to the witness box to tell everyone and the world what's happened. So they don't want that. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're going so hard on making statements like this and putting out these kind of articles of like, these people leaked information and that's criminal, because it's a thin ice type of case, and they're going to try to employ every kind of intimidation tactics that they can get a hold of, because they don't want this to go to court, because if it does, it's going to end up in front of a judge, or even worse for them, in front of a jury, and it's going to be game over. They're going to be out a lot of money. I don't think it's going to be like a Weinstein level thing, let me back that up. A Weinstein company level thing. Like Live Nation as a company can recover after all of this is said and done. But if they don't, they need to take into account too of the whole #MeToo thing has leaked over into the music business really, really hard. Mute R. Kelly. Think about it. There's no coming back from that for sure. And people have, willingly demonstrated that they're not going to mess with music people that have done terrible, terrible things. And the thing is Live Nation is a huge, huge business. We're not talking about Heather Parry is just running the physical, not the physical production arm, but the film and television production department. That's just one arm of Live Nation. That's a percentage of their business as a whole. It's not just one thing. But as Live Nation as a whole goes to bat for her, it's going to be a rough road. Okay, this is another cute comment too. Dunstan says, I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV, but if there's nothing in an employee's contract stating that recording meetings is not permitted, I have a feeling whoever recorded it is off the hook. As for the Thailand element, the law firm might have tracked some online info to someone posting from there, just a guess. Live Nation clearly needs to do some major house cleaning. Agreed. And the Thailand thing is totally weird, for sure, 100%. And here lies the problem. So many companies do this, stick up for the bully instead of penalizing them. Live Nation set an example. Be better than the rest. The truth says, Jane, get your head out of your ass. 23 complaints of verbal abuse against Linda Parry. Not Linda Parry. Linda Parry hasn't caught any Heather Parry. Linda Parry's a lovely person and responsible for a lot of amazing music. And recorded evidence that Live Nation senior executives were taking no legitimate steps to address the allegations. Instead, third-party investigator in quotations, Elena Baca is looking for a whistleblower to blame. Your suggestion that the employees are at fault is idiotic. Agreed. AJ, do you know Heather? Have you ever worked with her at all? Are you aware? I feel like maybe you have, maybe you haven't. You've been You've been at some places with some people, or you might know somebody that works for Heather. Oh, wait, you worked at MTV back in the day. That was where your internship was. Maybe you did cross paths with her. HS says, I've worked for a few producers like this, and when you are younger, you tend to deal with their garbage personalities to get your foot in the door. Thankfully, they are starting to get called out. In another article, it quotes some of the completely unacceptable language he uses. It's a shame some in this business would rather be feared than fear coming off as raised by trash, because that's not what the majority of people think like them. Not what credits you have. Boom! I love that comment. I love it. Thanks, HS. Jane says, bad employees that need to be replaced. Mary says, how about a bad boss who abused countless employees that needs to be replaced? An employee is doing no wrong if they're trying to fight for what is right. Sit down, Jane. Lee says, Heather's example is an employee who needs to be replaced. This is going to be fantastic to watch. We're watching and nodding and probably, drinking popcorn. Who cares who leaks stuff? If a company is in the wrong, they deserve to be shunned publicly. Own up to your mistakes, Live Nation, and stop trying to pin the blame on the employees. The problem is Heather Parry. Now finish the investigation, get rid of Heather, and pay out the abused. Mic drop. Totally. 100,000%. We shall see what happens with this situation, because this intimidation tactic that Paul Hastings' law firm and Martin Singer are throwing down is not going to stop. Like, there's no way. They're going to keep going, because they all know good and well that if this does end up in court, they're not going to win. They can throw as much money at it as they want. But really, with the money that they should be throwing at it, is the people that have been wronged by Heather. Throw money at them, and maybe they'll stop yakking. But at the same time, though, like, Live Nation's going to have to get rid of her. Like, there's no... Like, maybe they can trade her to another company or something. Like, somebody on Live Nation's balance sheet that, like, owes them money that they can't pay or something like that. Like, just trade her. Just trade her out. I mean, there's so many people. Like, again, I said this in the last one, and I'll say it again. Being a producer, not that difficult. It's really not. Especially when you have the money to pay people. Live Nation has, their own funding, and they can just throw down whatever they want. It's so easy. All you have to do is call me like, hey, can you come do this movie for me? I'll pay your quote. Thanks, bye. That's at that level, producer, that's your job. Paying people their quotes and making it happen. That's all you gotta do. That's it. Literally, it's not that hard. It's really not. So, with that being said, we will see what happens with this never-ending saga, and then I'm sure by next week something else will come out. But this is an interesting one, because, like, around shows that are, like, big or like really, 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 really over top of the story, people message me, they ask me stuff, they tell me stuff, blah, 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 blah. But it's all people that I know. Asking for information or giving information, which is how the show came to be. This is the first time where I've done a show, talked about something on the show, and then somebody that I talked about on the show has been like, hey, what's going on with you? Let's chat some more. Like, that's a new one. So I had another plan for the show today, and the Twitter gods have spoken and changed it to Heather Parry again, and I think she's gonna keep coming up. Like, Heather Parry, Harvey Weinstein, and Kevin Spacey are all on this, like, abuse saga triangle together, basically. Nudes? My dogs are so rotten. I have the most rotten dogs in the whole world. Anyway, thanks for coming by to No Filter Friday on Public House Media. Love you all so much. Delectable tea this week. Whole pot of it. Anyway, if you're a podcast listener on iHeartRadio or iTunes or Spotify or any of those places, give us a rating and a review or a star or something, and come back and check out other shows on Public House Media, like Coffee with Keith and Katie, or Choose to Rise, Beauties and Headcanons, all those fun shows that are not as dark and murky as this show, for sure. Far more uplifting than what we've got going on No Filter Friday. But that's for you to decide, not me. We'll see you all next week for more never-ending #MeToo saga continuation forever and ever and ever until the end of times, much like lamb chops. So bye. See you later, kids.